What's going on, everybody? This is BroncoJuggalo, and I just give a quick shout out to CP. Today, guys, I'm going to do a little bit of self-promoting before I start this video. Check out my site, BroncoJuggalo Talks Movies, on YouTube. If you're just checking out this video, I'd really appreciate it if you go to my site, check it out, subscribe if you like it. I got a lot of good content on there. And we are going to jump right in to my Nightmare on Elm Street Part 8 review. That's right, guys, one of my favorites in this franchise. It is finally here. Let's jump right in to Freddy vs. Jason.
I'm scary like Michael Jackson up close. I like digging up dead bodies. Look at me, I'm gross.
Alright, guys, I don't think you are, but just in case you're wondering why I'm now wearing something different, yes, it is the same day. That jersey was just really hot. And honestly, I was only wearing it to see if it still fit. I haven't tried to put on that jersey in a few years, and actually, surprisingly, it does. Last time I tried to put it on, it did not fit at all. I couldn't even barely get it on. So, thumbs up to me, yay! Anyways, guys, today we are discussing Freddy vs. Jason. This film stars Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in what is unfortunately, and I kind of have this listed as a con almost, but it's not a bad thing towards the movie. It's just this is Robert Englund's last appearance as Freddy Krueger on the big screen, and that just breaks my heart into teeny tiny little Juggalo pieces. I miss Robert Englund already. I wish he would do the next Freddy. I know everybody says, oh, he's older now and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? With makeup, who cares? I want to see Robert Englund as Freddy. Anyways, sorry about that. This film also stars Ken Kazinger as Jason and Monica Keene as our final girl, Lori. This film was directed by Ronnie Yu. As some of you also know, he also did Bride of Chucky. So, let's get right to it, guys. Let's jump off with the synopsis of this movie. Freddy, he's gone. His powers have been stripped because everybody has forgotten about him. And he has searched the bowels of hell to find himself a killer. Somebody he can drag back to Springwood and make everybody remember who Freddy Krueger is. And who does he pick? The one, the only, Crystal Lake Killer himself, Jason Voorhees. Yeah, Mr. himself. Just kidding. I'm a big Jason fan. We will be getting to the Friday the 13th review soon with my special guest, one of my best friends, Bill. He will be joining me in reviewing that because he is a huge Friday the 13th fan. And we're actually going to do this review again. But we're going to do it a little different in that one. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. We'll get to that when we get there. Freddy gets Jason. He dupes him into going to Springwood. He resurrects him from the dead, and he sends him to Springwood to start killing, so people will think that Freddy has returned. As the movie goes on, Freddy gets stronger due to all the killing Jason does, and it leads to an epic showdown of, dare I say, biblical proportions. Well, maybe not so much biblical, but pretty damn cool. This really is one of my favorites in this entire series, guys. I love this movie. I've heard people talk shit about this movie. If you don't like this movie, you should just be slapped. Like, backhanded right the fuck out of here. Well, maybe not. I guess you can have an opinion too. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're wrong. But you're wrong. So, this film came out in the early 2000s. It came out at a time where the slasher genre had pretty much gone the way of the dodo bird. There wasn't a lot out in this new age worth of horror films that was very good. We had a few Scream sequels that were, let's just say, lackluster. I mean, we'll get into those maybe at another time. But I really feel that this movie was needed at the time, and it really gave a shot in the arm back into the slasher genre and back into the arm of horror movies. There is so much cool stuff in this movie, guys. You got throwbacks to both franchises. We get to see a lot of cool stuff. Robert Englund rocks it as Freddy as usual. And we have a new, different take on Jason. Now we'll get into that here in a second. But I love this film. It is something I've been waiting for years. Growing up with both of these characters, I wanted to see this showdown like there was no tomorrow. We talked about this when we were in high school with friends that were into horror movies. Who would you love to see face each other? Who would you like to fight? The only thing that could have made this movie any better for me is that at the end, if Michael Myers would have walked out of the woods and jammed butcher knives into both of them. So as I say, guys, there's a lot of throwbacks to the franchises. We get to see some really cool stuff like Jason's mom. We get to see Weston Hills, which started all the way back in part 3, the return of Hypnosil. There is so much really cool stuff in this movie. So that being said, let's jump right into the pros. Once again, one of my biggest pros for any of these films is Robert Englund, putting on, as always, a phenomenal performance. Something I really liked in this movie that they did stray away from in the last movie is I'm glad they didn't really go back to the full camp, but they did bring back some really awesome Freddy one-liners. This movie is chock full of one-liners. He is just dialing it up, and he is loving every second of it. You could tell how much fun Robert Englund was having playing in this movie. So I absolutely love it, and I'm going to get to some of my favorites at the end of the video. One of my big pros for this film is Monica Keenum as the final girl Laurie, and also Jason Ritter as her boyfriend / love interest. I really like both of them as actors. I know that I really haven't seen Monica Keenum in a lot since, but that could just be because I haven't been paying attention. So, but I really do like them both. They're both very awesome. And I like Laurie a lot. In fact, she is my second favorite final girl in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And she is my first favorite final girl in the Friday the 13th series. Laurie is an awesome final girl. At the end of the movie, she is kicking ass and taking names. And that is just so awesome to me. Sorry guys, it's a little hot in here actually. It's starting to turn a little bit more towards spring and summerish, but the weather here where I live in New Mexico flips back and forth so much. Just yesterday it was 35 degrees outside and cold, and now today it's like 80 degrees and hot. So it flip-flops so much I have yet to turn on my air conditioning. So I'm a little bit warm today, but that's okay. We're going to power through this. As the coach used to say, play through the pain. Another huge pro for me is the kills and the carnage. This movie is filled with blood and kills and death, and it is awesome every step of the way. There is 21 kills, I believe, in this film. And Freddy, unfortunately, only gets credit for one of them by most people, but I give Freddy credit for 2. Freddy in this movie actually kills 2 people. He kills a girl in a dream, and he kills Sean, one of the characters in the film. Jason does get the lion's share of the kills, but that doesn't make it any less of a Nightmare on Elm Street film. In my opinion, this movie is very much a Freddy Krueger movie. This movie is very much more a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than it is a Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion. And as I said, people get it right. Freddy kills 2 people. I don't care if one is a dream or not, he still kills 2 people. So, 21 kills, guys. The carnage in this is just amazing. I think this may be the highest kill count from either franchise in a single film. I would definitely have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I don't think any of the films have a higher kill count than this one. So, do I say so a lot? Another pro here, guys, is I think they did a really good job on this story. It wasn't just a crap story. There is 1 or 2 little small issues I have with some things they did in the writing. But overall, the story is very good. I'm very pleased with it. As far as the people of Springwood forgetting Freddy, how he brings Jason in to bring himself back, and how it works around to the fight between them, I just love it all. And that is the main event. That's why I'm not getting so into a lot of the other characters at this moment in time, is because the main event in this movie is Freddy versus Jason. And that brings me to another pro, is the clash between these two. Whether it starts out throughout the movie, in the dream world, in the real world, whatever, every time these two come face to face, it is awesome. Every time these two come face to face, it is absolute eye candy for any horror fan. And it's actually one hell of a fight movie, too, come to think of it. You know, I mean, Mortal Kombat who? We got Freddy versus Jason. Another big pro I want to talk about, and this is a pro if you are a fan of heavy metal, even the bands I don't know on this score and the soundtrack, this is a kick-ass rockin' metal soundtrack. which is very much like what Donnie Yu did with Bride of Chucky. Just has a kick-ass score. I'm telling you, you won't find too many more metal soundtracks for movies that are better than this one. That being said, guys, no movie is perfect, and there are some cons in this film. One is the Jay wannabe. And by Jay, I hope you know I mean Jay and Silent Bob. Yes, the Kevin Smith characters. There is a character in this film that I don't know if they just thought, hey, this is what a stoner of today looks like. But they truly modeled him after Jay, and it doesn't work. Now, a lot of people will throw in the CGI effect caterpillar that this kid sees as a con. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. I kind of liked it. It fit the time and it fit the character, and the CGI isn't bad. I don't know why everybody harps on the CGI on it. There is a lot worse CGI out there than that caterpillar. Another con we have, guys, is, for me, Ken Kazinger's performance as Jason. Now, he does catch a lot of crap for his performance, and unfortunately, it's kind of justified. It's not that he was so terrible, it's just that he did nothing else. And he was just, maybe it was even part of the directing. They wanted Jason to just be big and hulking and slow, and that kind of bothered me. Jason, at his best, in my opinion, is when he is a hunting, predatorial person. It wasn't zombie Jason that we got in some of the later movies. I really like the remake Jason, and yes, we'll get into that later. And I really like, Jason 2, Jason 3, Jason, and Jason 4, where he's hunting and stalking, and he's not just a big lumbering idiot. So that was a bit of a negative for me. But, I got to take some precautions because, Jason, for all I know, he's right outside, and as we all know, Jason is afraid of water, and he can be stopped by water, so let me just take some precautions. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I just needed to do that real quick because, as we all know, because we were told by this movie, Jason is afraid of water. So I think by dousing myself in water, I'm pretty much safe from him killing me, right? Right? That's my biggest con with this film. Where the fuck did they come up with Jason is afraid of water? The guy lives at a lake. He was trapped underwater for years in the originals. Why would he be afraid of water? He goes into the water all the time. He comes out of the water. He uses the water. He jumps out of the water. Why would they think he's afraid of water? I get they were trying to do the whole find an angle of weakness for Freddy to exploit in the mind world, but I just didn't like that part. That is the only thing I really do not like about this film. And that is my biggest gripe, but yet at the same time, everything else they do in this movie makes it such a small gripe that it doesn't matter. I gotta tell you once again how much I love this movie. I love Freddy vs. Jason. It is actually probably in my top 10 horror films of all time, which is a list I will be bringing to you soon. So get ready for that, guys. And I'm going to leave you with some of my favorite quotes from this film. And this being Robert Englund's last appearance, plus so many quotable lines, I am actually going to come at you with a little more than I usually do. Is one where Jason is being flung around in the dream world and he's bouncing off things, and Freddy's pretending he's doing pinball, which is probably lost on all my younger viewers that probably have no idea what pinball is. Look it up. Pinball's an awesome game. Honestly, it kicks the crap out of half the video games these days, and it's just a simple machine with a ball in it. Anyways, but Freddy's all playing, and he ding, 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 and he's messing around with Jason. Jason's bouncing off everything. And at the end of it, he goes, tilt. And I love that. I also love in the opening monologue what he ends with, where he says, make them remember what fear tastes like. And he's got that kind of weird thing going on because his voice is merged with the woman's voice. And I just really love that part. I love that entire opening monologue. It's so good. And it was such a different way to start out a Freddy movie. It was a different way to start out a Jason movie. Everything about this movie was different but good. And the same but different but good. if you know what I mean, if you follow my weird BroncoJuggalo logic. So guys, I'm going to go out with the line that Freddy uses because I really feel the same way, and that's why one of the reasons I think that I started this channel. Being dead wasn't a problem, but being forgotten? Now that's a bitch! That is it, guys, for my review today. We have one more film in this series to go. That is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. God, give me strength to get through that movie because, well, we'll go over that in the next review. So, we got that movie review coming up, and then we have the ranking of the entire franchise coming up. Stay tuned right here, guys, to BroncoJuggalo. Same Freddy time, same Freddy channel.